All right, good evening, everybody. I call this May 27th, 2025 meeting of council to order at 6 p.m. This meeting will be held in a hybrid manner where members of council, staff, and the public can participate electronically. The meeting is being live streamed and recorded and will be available on the township's website. And notice is hereby provided that under the authority of the Municipal Act 2001 and in accordance with the Municipal Freedom of Information and Protection of Privacy Act, that all information attained is considered part of the public record. All rules apply to the meeting as if everyone was attending in person. And if there is a problem with the technology impacting the proceedings of the meeting may be recessed. And will everyone please rise for the singing of the national anthem? We acknowledge that we are being hosted on ancestral lands of the Haudenosaunee, Mississauga, and Omama-Winnenee peoples. We acknowledge and welcome the presence of all Indigenous peoples, including the Métis, Inuit, and other First Nations from across this vast land who also make this place home. The lands we are on today are recognized in the Two-Row Wampum, Dish with One Spoon Treaty, Treaty 27, and the Crawford Purchase. Council, we have an agenda before us. Can I get a confirmation of the agenda as presented? Councillor Broderick, seconded by Councillor Willis. Any edits, errors, or omissions or additions? Seeing none, call the question. All those in favor? Motion is carried. Any declarations of pecuniary interest or the general nature thereof? Seeing none, before proceeding any further, I will mention to the public, we do have regrets this evening from Councillors Parks and Innes. Councillor Broderick is joining remotely, and we have additional regrets from Mayor Hagedorn. There are no presentations, no statutory public meeting, and so we come to open forum. 15 minutes of the meeting has been set aside for open forum. Any individual may address council regarding an item on the agenda, excluding matters under the statutory public meeting section of that same agenda. Each person has 3 minutes to speak. Anyone wishing to speak can register in advance with the clerk's division or raise their hand. And if participating virtually, use the raised hand feature in Zoom. Is there anybody in chambers that would like to speak at open forum? Seeing none, I'll turn to the clerk. Is there anyone in the virtual audience?
To the Deputy Mayor, I'm not seeing anyone with their hand raised in the virtual audience.
Going once, going twice. Very well. So we come to matters for consideration. Item 11.1, 2024 Annual Community Grant Reporting. Deputy Treasurer, you're starting. Okay.
report for you is on the community grants, and we're looking for basically direction and confirmation on the path to deal with the surplus funds from the 2024 intakes. And we're here for any further questions.
Thank you. I'll turn to council. I'd take one.
Thank you, Deputy. I would recommend that the report from the Clerk's Division and Finance Department dated May 27th, 2025, 2024 Annual Community Granting Reporting be received, that any unused funds from 2024 grant program be rolled into the 2025 grant program, and that henceforth staff transfer the unused funds each year automatically into the following year's intake.
So moved. Seconder, Councillor Buderick. Any comments? Mover, seconder. Anyone else? Call the question. All those in favor? Motion is carried. Come to 11.2, June Recreation and Parks Month. And our Director of Community and Customer Services is coming up. Over to you, Ms. McFarland.
Nothing further.
Nothing further. Council, any questions with regard to the report? Seeing none, I'd look for a mover. Councillor Willis.
I move that the report from the Community and Customer Services Department, Recreation and Facilities Division dated May 27th, 2025, June Recreation and Parks Month be received. And 2, that council proclaim June 2025 Recreation and Parks Month throughout the township. And 3, the council directs staff to A, highlight and promote June as Recreation and Parks Month throughout the township. B, organize a June Recreation and Parks Month kickoff event. And C, coordinate council's participation in the SEOPRA Mayoral Challenge.
So moved. Seconded by Councillor Broderick. Any comments? Call the question. All those in favor? Motion is carried. 11.3, appointment of a drainage superintendent.
Nothing further, Your Worship, just questions.
Nothing further. Any questions on the report? Councillor Broderick.
Question, just so I'm clear. The drainage superintendent isn't a full-time position. It's just as needed. Is that the way I read the report?
Through Your Worship, yes, that's correct.
Okay, thanks.
Any further questions on the report? Then I'd look for a mover. Councillor Broderick.
I would move that the report from the Public Works Division dated May 27th, 2025, reappointment of a drainage superintendent be received, that council appoint Kevin Hawley, professional engineer from Greer Holloway Group, as the township's drainage superintendent, and that bylaw 2025-38 being a bylaw to appoint a drainage superintendent, and repeal bylaw 2001-11 be enacted and passed.
So moved. Seconded by Councillor Buderick. Any comments?
No.
Seeing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor? Motion is carried. We have no committee of the whole this evening. Notices of motion. Are there any notices of motion? Are there any direct motions? Seeing none, we'll move to the consent agenda. The following matters are deemed to be repetitive or routine in nature and may be approved by one vote in accordance with the recommendation contained in each item. Any member before the motion to consider all items under the consent agenda is voted on shall identify any items they wish to speak to, and the matter shall be extracted from the consent agenda to be dealt with separately. What are council's wishes for the consent agenda this evening? Councillor Buderick.
I would like to extract 14.7, please.
14.7 extracted. Any other members of council? Then I'd look for the general motion. Councillor Broderick.
I would move that all items save item 14.7 in the consent agenda dated May 27th, 2025 5 be approved as presented and necessary action be taken.
So moved, seconded by Councillor Willis. Any further discussion? Call the question. All those in favor? Motion is carried. We come to item 14.7. Over to you, Councillor Buderick.
Just had two quick questions, if possible. If the
Yep, the
chief is
chief-
available.
The chief's just coming up to the front.
It's unfortunate that I'm not there, but got dragged away for work. Just a couple quick questions. If he's
Yep. Yeah, the
okay.
chief's at the front. Go ahead.
Yeah, I can see him in the camera here.
Oh, okay, just his head.
Yes. Just curious, why the whole municipality is listed as rural, and not broken into a couple of maybe larger, or not, sorry, I guess semi-residential areas, where we have some multi-res units that would be apartments or things in a couple of different, or soon to be in a couple of different portions or villages, towns within our municipality. That was one question.
Hold there, Councillor Buderick. Do you want to answer that, Chief?
Sure. Through the chair. It's based on just the average of the municipality. We could separate the more urban areas out. It does create some significant differences within that reporting structure. But it definitely can be done. It was just done as an average over the entire township.
No, that's fine. The other was, you list NFPA 1720 for a standard, but I do know that we have, what, county yourself, 8, 9 full-time, and that standard is 1710, NFPA 1710. There's no mention of it. I just was making sure that the most important people we have within the fire department are trained to the standard as well, and that was not added in. That was all.
Yeah, through the chair, the 1710, 1720 is not the training standard. That's a response standard.
Oh, it's response
So
standard.
1710 is for fully career departments or predominantly career departments. We're still predominantly paid on call or part-time. So
Yep.
we would be using the 1720 standard, but the training is equal, whether it's full-time or part-time. We use the same training standard for all our staff.
Perfect. That's the only two questions I had. Thanks.
No problem.
Thank you, Councillor Buderick. So the motion is to receive, oh, go ahead.
More a comment. And the chief and I talked last night, and I was really intrigued by, maybe you could just share with the audience just how much time is spent on 401 calls. Because I think people need to realize how much of, our time is spent on the major highway.
Sure. Through the chair. So when I look at the stats from last year, it's about, I think it's, I'm just trying to find them, but it was around 100 calls were car accidents or motor vehicle collisions. So yeah, exactly 100 out of our calls. So that accounts for about 18.5% of our calls are car accidents. Out of that, like I mentioned last night, I don't have the specifics on the 401, which I can get, and it's probably a good number to actually keep track of. But I would, just a rough guess, we're going to look at probably at least 75%, give or take, of our calls, of our motor vehicle collisions would be on the 401. So a significant amount. So you're probably looking at last year, give or take 75 calls on the 401, probably.
Any further questions? So the recommendation is to receive for information the Emergency Services 2024 Annual Report. Can I get a mover to that effect? Councillor Willis, seconded by Councillor Buderick. Any further discussion? Call the question. All those in favor? Motion is carried. Are there any announcements this evening? Seeing none, we come to the confirmatory bylaw. Oh, sorry. Go, Councillor Buderick.
I know that we did an amazing job, and I would love to thank staff for everything they did for the notification for the passing of Don Lee. The fact that our staff recognized him as the volunteer and amazing community person that he was. the fact that our communications department put out on all their social media very promptly a notification of why the flags were down in his honor. And it's gonna be missed. One heck of a human being. But that is all.
Thank you, Councillor Buderick. Last call for announcements. Seeing none, confirmatory bylaw. Can I get a mover? Councillor Poderick.
I would recommend that bylaw 2025-42 to confirm the proceedings of the Council of Loyalist Township be enacted and passed, and that the mayor and clerk be authorized to sign and seal.
So moved, seconded by Councillor Willis. Call the question. All those in favor? Motion is carried. Can I get a motion to adjourn? Councillor Willis, seconded by Councillor Buderick. All those in favor? Motion is carried. We are adjourned at 6:16 p.m.
Wow.